Welcome back to Rob's RV Adventures. That's what it feels like right now. So we have a 22 Grand Design 2800. We've got probably close to 8,000 miles, maybe 8,500 miles on it now. If you remember, we did our big West trip 2 years ago where we did 17 states and 6,600 miles. So last year and this year have been at least once a month camping trips, local campgrounds, things like that. We've gone up to Penn State for some football games. And finally, after quite a while of road rash, our fridge has needed some service. So let's talk about this for a second. What we had originally on our big trip was we noticed that this bottom hinge was flexing a little bit. So you see I got some rubber washers underneath of there to prop that up, and what it was doing was it was messing up the joint there, and the seal wasn't working well. Well, we also noticed it in this hinge, and this probably started on those great Indiana roads that we were on, and I never noticed it, but it bent, and this whole door kept seemingly dropping, and all we really ever had in it was, half gallon of milk and cranberry juice and orange juice, usually in the drawer, in the bottom of the door. So I think we're going to change that philosophy, maybe move some things around here. It would be really nice if there was like one of those like fun cutout half shelves that you could put taller things in, but I think I'm going to move some shelving around and get that taller piece, because what happened is this hinge, I was trying to bend it up a little bit. Well, obviously you can see it wiggles quite a bit now because it has a crack all the way through it. I had to take it off at the last campground and electrical tape it. That got us through the weekend, and I ordered new hinges from Liepert. Quickly shipped. It was like 27 bucks or so. There you go. There's the new hinge. We'll get that bolted up. I also got a new bottom hinge. We'll get that bolted up. And we'll be back in business. Another trip up to Penn State for the Washington game coming up. Then this winter, what I'm going to do is down there at the bottom where my washers were, I think I'm going to modify that a little bit, give it some support in that vent cover. Down here on this bottom side is where I have access to that fuse. If I ever had to do anything, remember there's that fuse in the back. So it has the jumper line to the front, and I've got a regular automotive blade fuse there. So everything's accessible, and I think by modifying the doors, the door, and then moving, I think this shelf here, I'm going to move down. Maybe I can get enough height in there to use our standard items, or we'll just travel with them laid down when we're traveling, and then we can put them in the door when we're stationary at the campground. So that is one item. Second item is I always crack my fresh water tank, just that valve a little bit. We were at a campground this past weekend, and first thing we noticed, the pressure's really high, and I had that inline Camco pressure reducer. My wife was getting a shower. She's like, "Oh, the pressure's great. This is nice." And our neighbors also have been making comments about how high the pressure was. Well, once you know it, we're sitting there at the campfire. She got done her shower, and all of a sudden I started seeing water dripping underneath the camper. What happened there is, here's my water pump, and the check valve, which is in the water pump, actually was letting pressure from the shore, connection water to backfeed through the pump and drops down into the tank, which is why I always crack it, because I would notice if this ever happened, and of course here we did. So I was able to actually turn off the water pressure, connect things. For the rest of the weekend, we pulled water out of the tank, and I then had a shut-off valve outside. So it seems like our pressure exceeded it just enough that it offset that little O-ring seal that's inside the water pump itself. SureFlow has a kit for that. So, you know, I got the kit, which has the new seal, the spring, and the plunger. But before we did taking it all apart, what I did is I filled the water tank up about a third, and I ran the water pump probably 15 minutes off and on. Just got it to cycle. It would hunt because it was seeping, so it would hunt every once in a while. And then it stopped and held pressure. So I think we just unseated this enough that it was leaking slowly. It wasn't a big gushing amount that was coming out the bottom. It was just enough that it was not holding pressure. So for right now, it's actually holding. It has not kicked back on. I'm getting pressure at everything. When I turn on the faucet, the pump kicks on. Turn off the faucet, it gets up to pressure and shuts off. So everything's working properly. I'm going to keep this as a spare just in case. And we're going to start using a regulated water gauge rather than an inline system. So got, a regular gauge now. So this one will go, instead of an inline one like the Camco makes, this is able to be adjusted. Can adjust the pressure here at the top. It's preset to 45 psi. I might dial that back to 40, and we're going to set that and give that a shot when we go camping in the coming weeks. And that's very similar to the well pressure I have here at my house. So no problems with that. Hopefully I don't have to take that apart this winter, and we will be set. So otherwise, been another great season of camping here in Southeast PA. Make these minor fixes, general maintenance type stuff. That just comes along with, putting your RV through an earthquake, basically every time you drive. There's definitely highways out there that are much worse than others. Indiana, calling you guys out again, because that was some of the worst roads that we've been on. But yeah, we're looking forward to wrapping up this year. Got a lot of good trips in, and we're going to start planning next year for both some local, and if I can swing it, maybe we'll go northeast up into Maine and New England area. So keep coming back for more tips, things I find, things I fix, and hopefully it helps you guys out as well. All right, enough rambling. Time to get to work.